Good afternoon, everyone. We will go ahead and begin today's webinar. Today's webinar will be quick and not take much time. It'll be over how to update an employee's contact information. And then following the quick training, I will be available to answer any questions that anyone might have. So when you log in to your enrollment portal, it'll bring you to the home screen, which you can see here. And from the home screen, again, you would do the enrollment tab and then your employees. As always, the most recent employees that you have gone into and done any sort of research or items, those will appear first. You can always search for an employee in the search tab, but you would select your employee that you are going to need to update the contact information for. Most would think that you would need to do some sort of life event in order to update this information, and I will go over why that is not the case for contact information, but why it is for other types of information. You would click on the Contact tab, and you can see here is the employee's contact information. The employee does not have access to update certain elements of their contact information that you as an administrator would have. They can always log in and update their address if you allow them to do so, or a phone number. You wouldn't want them to update a date of birth or a social without first running that by you, so that you can also keep record of this event yourself. So here, if I wanted to change my address or update my address, I would do so here. And then if I also needed to update any sort of email or phone number, I could do this here and click Save. And that's a simple way that you would update that employee's contact information. The Demographics tab here will show you any dependents that this employee has listed. In order to update any employee dependent information, this will have to be done by an administrator, as in if you needed to remove an employee's dependent or add an employee's dependent, you would do that via a life event. So this is a little bit different than the normal contact information way. You can perform a life event if you are changing the employee's name, and then at that time you can also update additional information. So if your employee gets married or divorced or just has a legal name change, then you would need to go through this portal on the life event tab to record that, and at that time update contact information as well. If you divorce your spouse, you could also use this life event, but not the same as if you are just changing your name. If your spouse is not listed as a dependent, then you would not have to go about it to change your name that way. If your spouse is listed as a dependent, then you would do the divorced option. Same with the new child, birth, adoption, or regained custody. You can see the other items on here that you would need to do a life event. With that being said, I will revisit when you have an employee who works at multiple locations and may go from location to location on a certain schedule or unscheduled, you will always want to perform a life event in order to get that location changed. So an address change is for the employee's personal information, and a location change would be the job location, and that is required to be done via a life event. I know that sometimes it comes over on a census as a term, because in your payroll system, they see it as a term from one location and a rehire at a new location, but in our system, it's just a location change and not a termination. So that may cut down on some errors or any issues that you are seeing or have occurred in the past when it comes to your employees and their work history. Does anyone have any questions or comments that you can type into the screen, and we can address those right now on the call. I do see a question that if an employee does move and there's a location change, say they transfer, if you have more than one location in different states, how that would be addressed. You can do that via a life event to change their job location, and at that time you can also update any contact information for that employee as well. Does anyone have any questions in regards to any items that I may assist you with at this time, system-wise? It can be something, a topic that we've gone over previously, or something that you're just encountering yourself and would like clarification on at this time. There is a question in regards to what we can allow and not allow employees to update during the open enrollment process, or to have open for them to update throughout the plan year. We can set limitations on certain items for employees so that they themselves can update during open enrollment or through the call center, or we can put it on lockdown to where they cannot make the change. So like Social Security number is usually just read only so that it cannot be updated by the employee. A lot of other things that we would also put on lockdown would be like salary, job class, location, hourly wage, those sort of things, just so that employees aren't updating incorrectly, because we do have salary-based benefits when it comes to your life or short-term disability, and them updating those certain items could affect it or change it. So we don't normally have them update that. And a job class would have to be done via a life event, because we do have the different job classes from part-time to full-time, the ineligible and eligible job classes. I know at the time of open enrollment that if they call the call center and feel that they need to update a certain item, whether it be location or job class, that call center is instructed to notify GDP, and we would reach out to HR at that time and get verification on the items that need to be updated. And with that being said, we also get a lot of employees who call in to enroll but are not on the eligibility census to be eligible to enroll, and at that time, or they're not in the system, and at that time the call center does reach out to GDP, and we verify with HR if they in fact should be eligible to enroll. Does anyone have any other questions? I am able to address any other items that anyone might have due to this quick and short contact information updating training. I will also go ahead and point out that there is a notes tab, and at any time you can put a note on an employee record for yourself or for anyone else that's working in HR. So the employee won't be able to see this note themselves, only administrators can see this note, and there is a report available that can report on all notes across all employees or just one employee if it is needed. So I know that when our internal customer service reps make phone calls out or receive phone calls in from an employee, they do make notes here so that we can record those, and then if they're transferred onto our advocacy program, then that is also recorded. But you can make any notes here, and it'll tell you the date and time the note was made and the user, so those can always be reported on. Does anyone have any additional items? Okay, well, today's webinar was quick and one of the easier ones than we've had in the past. So thank you everyone for joining. And as always, if you have any questions or items that I can be assistance with, you can just reach me via email or phone. My contact information is listed here on this cover page. So if you have anything that I can assist you with, please let me know. Thank you.